Question 91. How can we recognize someone who has attained enlightenment so that we can show them the appropriate reverence? It is very difficult to know if someone has attained enlightenment because their outward appearance and behavior often seem quite ordinary. Unless we have achieved a certain level of enlightenment, it's unlikely that we can recognize someone at the same level. For example, a person who has achieved the first stage of sainthood, known as a sotapanna, may be especially hard to identify. Because they may exhibit virtuous and noble behavior, but there is nothing outwardly extraordinary about them. Only after spending considerable time with them might we begin to notice their deep-rooted virtue and naturally revere them more. People with great merit are often recognized easily because their blessings manifest in their appearance, wealth, power, or strength. Interestingly, an enlightened being might not always be someone with a lot of visible merit. Therefore, the safest approach is to respect everyone in this world, where saints and ordinary people coexist. This way, if we happen to encounter a saint, we will avoid the risk of losing merit by treating them with indifference or disrespect. Question 92. Does a tranquil mind indicate that one has attained enlightenment? There are various levels of calmness in the mind, and not all types of calmness are the same. It's similar to how a house can be clean or dirty, but there are many different types of houses, and not all clean houses are alike. A mansion may be clean or dirty, just as a simple thatched house may be clean or dirty. A dilapidated shack may also be clean or dirty. A mansion, even when dirty, is still a mansion. Likewise, the mind of a saint, even when disturbed by worldly concerns, remains the mind of a saint. A simple thatched house, even if clean, is still a humble dwelling. Likewise, the mind of an ordinary person, even when achieving a certain level of tranquility through correct practice, remains the mind of an ordinary person, still harboring many hidden flaws. A dilapidated shack, even when swept and tidied, is still a poor and miserable shelter. Similarly, the mind of someone burdened by heavy karmic debts, even if it attains some calmness, remains the mind of a person with heavy karma. Understanding this, we should not become complacent or overestimate our spiritual achievements when we achieve a bit of calmness in our practice. The important thing is to assess and accurately recognize the house or spiritual level we are currently in. We should be content with where we are, continue our practice from that place, and not be deluded into thinking we have reached a higher spiritual state than we actually have, as such illusions can lead to a loss of merit. The principle of the law of karma is that we should not try to escape difficult circumstances. Instead, we should practice and do good deeds within those circumstances. By doing so, we gradually exhaust our negative karma and are upgraded to a better house, progressing to a higher level. Here are the slogans for the 3 types of houses. 3 types of people. For the mansion, representing those who may have entered the path of sainthood, the slogan is, "Deep within, there is still ignorance and sin." For the simple thatched house, representing ordinary people, the slogan is, "Even if the mind is calm, it is still the mind of an ordinary person with many hidden flaws." For the dilapidated shack, representing those burdened with heavy karma, the slogan is, "This mind is a prison of evil and sin." By correctly recognizing our own level and embracing the appropriate slogan, like our password, we can reduce our faults, lessen our karma, and create opportunities to rise to a higher level. Question 93. Could you provide an overview of the 4 foundations of mindfulness? The Buddha taught the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which encompass 4 key practices: contemplation of the body, contemplation of feelings, contemplation of the mind, and contemplation of mental objects. Contemplation of the body involves maintaining awareness of the body in all activities, whether walking, standing, sitting, or lying down. With the mind settled with mindfulness through prior practices, practitioners observe and recognize the characteristics of the body, such as its impermanence, impurity, and burdensome nature, with many needs and desires. Contemplation of feelings. As mindfulness deepens, practitioners constantly perceive a pervasive sense of mindfulness throughout the body. The mindfulness is invisible yet clearly present, helping to understand that the mind is still ordinary, containing many hidden flaws, and still influenced by subtle underlying sensations. Contemplation of the mind. With a very deep state of meditative ecstasy, practitioners clearly see themselves as the knowing aspect of consciousness and the source of all actions, and realize that deep within the mind, ignorance and defilements still persist. Contemplation of truths. At this stage, practitioners have attained liberation and enlightenment, where the sense of self dissolves and they become one with the ultimate truth of the universe. Before entering the practice of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, practitioners must follow a preliminary path, which is mindfulness of sin. This involves recognizing oneself as a mass of deep-seated karmic burdens, as reflected in the slogans related to the 3 types of houses. Practitioners should focus more awareness on the bottom of the abdomen and skillfully maintain a slow, minimal, and gentle breath. By practicing these techniques, mindfulness will naturally emerge, leading the way into the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Question 94. What is the meaning of the 7 factors of enlightenment? The 7 factors of enlightenment, Sata Bhojanga, are 7 qualities found in the mind of an enlightened being. These include investigation of Dhamma, Dhamma Vicaya, the ability to clearly discern right from wrong without confusion, energy, Viraya, a strong and unwavering determination and effort, joy, Piti, a deep and abiding sense of happiness and fulfillment, tranquility, passaddhi, a calm and relaxed mind free from tension and stress. Mindfulness, sati, constant awareness and the ability to control the mind. Concentration, samadhi, the ability to enter deep states of meditative ecstasy easily. Equanimity, upekkha, a state of non-attachment, where nothing in the world can disturb or cling to the mind. The order of these factors may vary slightly between the two different Buddhist main traditions, Mahayana and Theravada. Question 95. What are the 12 links of dependent origination? The 12 links of dependent origination describe the process of samsara, the cycle of birth and rebirth, combining psychological and karmic factors in the following order. Number 1. Ignorance, avijja. This is the fundamental delusion or lack of understanding inherent in all sentient beings. This ignorance is the root cause of the entire chain of dependent origination. Number 2. Volitional formations, sankhara. These are the mental formations or activities driven by the ego. Ignorance leads to the rise of these formations, where the ego begins to assert itself. Number 3. Subconsciousness, vijnana. This refers to activities of the subconscious, also known as the vegetative nervous system. Due to the ego's emergence, the subconscious mind becomes active. This subconsciousness is the basis for the arising of mental and physical phenomena in an individual. Number 4. Name and form, nama-rupa. This refers to the activities of the conscious mind and the physical body. The subconscious mind's subtle activities lead to the manifestation of conscious thought and physical existence. Name refers to the mental components and form refers to the physical body. Number 5. 6 sense bases, salayatana. These are the 6 faculties or sense bases: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind that arise due to the existence of name and form. As the mind and body function, the 6 senses become the means through which beings perceive the world. Number 6. Contact, phassa. This refers to the interaction between the 6 sense bases and their corresponding objects. Through the senses, beings come into contact with the external environment, sensory contact. Without fully functioning senses, a being may seem disconnected from their surroundings. Number 7. Feeling, vedana. The sensations or feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, that arise from contact with objects through the senses. Due to interaction with the world, beings experience a variety of joys and sorrows, influenced by life's complex circumstances. Number 8. Craving, tanha. This is the emergence of desires and aversions that arise based on feelings. Driven by feelings of pleasure and sorrow, beings develop complex emotions, loving what brings joy and hating what causes suffering. Number 9. Clinging. Upadana. This refers to the actions that create karma. Driven by attachments and aversions, beings engage in various activities that generate complex, good and bad karma. Number 10. Becoming. Bhava. This is the formation of a future existence. The karma created through one's actions lays the groundwork for the conditions of future rebirths, essentially designing the blueprint for future lives. Number 11. Birth. Jati. This is the actual rebirth into a new life. Once the blueprint is formed, rebirth inevitably follows, leading to a new existence. Number 12. Aging and death. Jara Marana. This encompasses the inevitable cycle of aging, illness, death, and all the suffering that accompanies existence, such as sorrow, lamentation, pain, and despair. A being born into this world naturally experiences aging, sickness, death, and all the associated suffering. To eliminate ignorance and cease the cycle of rebirth, one must diligently practice the Noble Eightfold Path. Question 96. What is the process for ordination to become a montastic in Buddhism? To become an ordained monk or nun in Buddhism, a lay person must meet the following requirements. The individual should have already studied Buddhist teachings, practiced diligently, and developed a strong commitment to the monastic life, to the extent that they no longer feel attached to worldly life. Their determination to ordain must be unwavering. The individual should seek and obtain the consent of their family, parents if unmarried, or spouse if married, before proceeding with ordination. The individual must select a master and a monastery where they intend to reside and practice for the rest of their life. The individual should approach the chosen monastery and formally request ordination. If accepted, they will likely be required to serve as a lay volunteer at the monastery for a period of time, during which their ethics and capabilities will be assessed. Necessary documents must be submitted to the monastery for reporting to local authorities. If the individual is found suitable, the monastery will conduct a solemn ordination ceremony where the individual's head will be shaved and they will don the monastic robes, formally leaving behind their lay status, marking the transition from lay person to monastic. The monastery will also submit the necessary documentation to the local government and religious organizations. After a period of monastic training, the master may allow the individual to take the novice vows, samanera samaneri, which consist of 10 precepts when a proper ordination event is organized by the religious community. If the candidate is a woman, she must undergo a period as a sikkamana, probationary nun, taking the intermediate sikkamana vows after completing the novice stage. A novice monk can continue to receive full ordination as a bhikshu with 250 precepts when the master deems the individual qualified and permits them to participate in a formal ordination ceremony. A fully ordained nun, bhikkhuni, observes 348 precepts. The newly ordained monk or nun are required to continue their studies in Buddhist doctrine as arranged by their master and the religious council. After 25 years as a bhikkhu, one may be conferred the title of Thera, senior monk, or Theri, senior nun. After 40 years as a bhikkhu, one may receive the title of Mahathera, great senior monk, or Mahatheri, great senior nun. Each Buddhist sect, council, or country may have variations in this process, including differences in monastic attires, specific rules, and other practices. However, these are administrative steps. Spiritual enlightenment is not bound by time, so it cannot be regulated by these milestones. For a disciple of the Buddha, the pursuit of enlightenment remains the ultimate goal. Question 97. In ancient times, society was simple, with few material possessions and technological devices. So, monks had fewer opportunity to interact with the world. Now, with the convenience of phones, computers, and transportation, it seems that monks are more connected with the secular world. Does this make it harder to maintain their moral discipline? The modern era of technology indeed presents new challenges for monks, requiring them to cultivate greater determination in their practice. The key is to navigate technology wisely, using its advantages while avoiding its potential drawbacks that can diminish the image and integrity of the monastic life. To maintain strict moral discipline, monks today need to engage in frequent and sincere repentance before the Buddha. The merit gained from this practice helps purify the mind and reinforce moral qualities, allowing wisdom to naturally develop and enabling them to protect their spiritual life from the encroachment of worldly life. In the past, it was easier to practice because worldly distractions were minimal. Today, however, the practice is more challenging due to the pervasive influence of secular life, making it necessary for monks to put in extra effort to prevent these influences from taking hold. Meditation plays a crucial role in supporting moral discipline, but to achieve results, it must be practiced correctly with a humble mind. Humility is very crucial for spiritual practitioners, as arrogance can lead to immediate contamination by worldly influences. Some modern teachings may inadvertently foster pride in practitioners, which undermines their spiritual progress. Therefore, it is safest to prioritize teachings that help maintain humility in the mind, ensuring a solid and lasting path of practice. Question 98. How can we effectively explain Buddhist teachings to others? To effectively explain Buddhist teachings to others, two key conditions are necessary. First, listeners must have a good karmic connection with us from past lives, making them receptive to what we say. Second, we must have the ability to speak so well that people are naturally drawn to our words. Sharing the Dharma with others is an important merit that everyone should strive to practice. When we make the effort to speak about Buddhist teachings to others, it ensures that in our future lives, we will quickly encounter the Buddhist teachings, have the opportunity to practice, develop wisdom, and experience good fortune. It's essential to help others to build positive connections with them so that in the future, when we share the Dharma, they will be open and receptive to it. Additionally, supporting others in spreading the Dharma also helps us develop the ability to speak eloquently in the future, allowing us to persuade and inspire many people. Compassion has various levels, but the highest level is the desire to share the Dharma with everyone we meet, helping them understand the Dharma and find a path to liberation from suffering. If we come across a good Dharma book or hear a meaningful teaching, we should share it with others. Whenever we have the opportunity to talk with others, we should try to discuss the Dharma instead of engaging in trivial or idle conversations. However, since we frequently speak about the Dharma, we must also maintain discipline in our own life. We should practice diligently and uphold moral integrity, which helps gain the respect and trust of others, making them more willing to listen to what we have to say. Because the principle is that those who teach something must excel in that area. Question 99. What can we do to preserve the Buddha's teachings for future generations? Ever since the time of the Buddha, there have always been numerous attempts to destroy Buddhism. Throughout history, Buddhism has been eradicated in various places at different times. Malicious forces have always sought to extinguish the Dharma. The Buddha's disciples, who practice compassion and patience, have often refrained from resisting, which has unfortunately made it easier for these evil forces to attack the Dharma. The enlightenment of the Buddha is an invaluable, intangible heritage of humanity that must be preserved and protected for future generations. However, to protect the Dharma and ensure its longevity, the Buddha's disciples must have great merit. Some people mistakenly believe that following the precepts simply means refraining from harmful actions and nothing more, forgetting that actively performing good deeds to generate merit is also critical. Others are influenced by wrong views that doing nothing is a sign of spiritual advancement, which leads to a decline in merit. If everyone lacks merit, there will be no power and resources to defend the Dharma and ensure its long-lasting existence. Therefore, we must first accumulate merit to gain the strength needed to protect the Dharma. Once we have this foundation, then can we study and develop strategies to counteract the efforts of those who seek to undermine Buddhism. Question 100. Everyone believes their own religion is the best and most correct, while other religions are wrong. This mindset is a significant barrier to human unity. What should we do about this? In reality, there is only one ultimate truth, not many. One day, humanity will need to identify the most accurate and universal religion, likely through scientific exploration. If science continues to advance, it may eventually identify the religion that is most aligned with the truth. At that time, everyone will have to accept a common faith, a shared religion, and a unified spirituality for the entire planet. Until that day comes, we must find ways to coexist peacefully. We should encourage religions to seek out commonalities to foster mutual respect and affection, rather than highlighting differences to fuel conflicts. For example, most religions believe in a supreme being or God, but they may use different names due to linguistic differences. This discrepancy has led to the mistaken belief that these are different deities, and consequently, to religious strife. For now, religions must transcend the limitations of language to foster understanding, move beyond ritual differences to come closer together, and embrace diversity as a basis for love and unity. Every religion teaches love and compassion, but it is illogical to exclude people of other faiths from this love. True compassion should extend to everyone, regardless of their religion. Let us all bow down and pray for world peace, for humanity to love one another, and for everyone to find supreme enlightenment and liberation.